Hey everybody, welcome back to Home Economics. I'm your instructor, Erica, and today I have a great weeknight recipe for us. So we're gonna do grilled zucchini steak bowls with a creamy sauce to go on top. So as always, put your aprons on and let's get started. So to kick things off, I have 2 steak medallions. And so I bought a beef tenderloin from Costco maybe about 2 months, maybe a month ago, 2 months ago, something like that. And so I just cut it up and froze different portions of it because I'm like, I'll figure out what to do with it as time goes on. So today we're going to be making steak bites. So we're just going to season these heavily actually, with salt and pepper. We're going to keep it pretty simple because I have some herbs from the garden that we're going to cook this in. So we want the flavors to come from that. So I'm just going to add more salt to this side. And then after that, we're going to let this rest and let it come up to room temperature on the counter. And that way it'll cook the steak more evenly once we put it over heat. Okay, I'm going to set that to the side and then start preparing our veggies. So next up, we're going to cut up this giant zucchini that I got at the farmer's market. So I'm not going to use the whole thing because I'm actually going to make some zucchini bread out of it at a later date. But for right now, we're probably going to do about, I guess, half. And I'm going to slice slices of it, about a 1/4 inch thick, more or less. Okay, some of these are thicker than others, but you get the picture. So then I'm just going to put those off into a bowl and set to the side. So as I'm looking, these slices are kind of wide, so I'm going to cut these in half to get the visual that I was going for initially. So now they're more like that. Next up, we have our farmer's market garlic. So I have 4 cloves. I'm not going to chop it, I'm just going to get a good peel on it. Like so. In my opinion, when it comes to steak, more garlic, the better. But I also don't like peeling garlic because it makes your hands stink. Lastly, we have fresh chives from the garden. And we're just gonna give those a rough chop. I don't know if you guys have seen on social media, mainly TikTok, where chefs like very finely and intricately chop their chives, and they're doing that little like rate my chives contest. One day, when I learn how to use a knife properly, I'll be able to do that. Not today though. All right, we're done chopping. That's my least favorite part of cooking. And so now let's make our special creamy sauce. Now for our sauce, we're gonna take 1/2 cup of Greek yogurt. Now you can use sour cream for this, but if you want something that's just a teensy bit healthier, I suppose, and you want something that's a little tangier, you can use Greek yogurt, which is what I'm using today. Then we're gonna take about 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder. I'm measuring with my heart. And then 1/2 teaspoon of smoked paprika. And then we want to do a full tablespoon of Dijon mustard. And then some salt to taste. And then we want to add in those chives. Or you could use parsley, whatever your preference is. And then we mix. Ooh, you know what would be good in this? Horseradish. I'm going to add some horseradish. Hold on. We're not going to add a lot, just 1/2 tablespoon. And there's our sauce. All right, now we need to go ahead and get our grill warmed up so we can start grilling the zucchini and then the steak. And then I'm gonna make some rice to go underneath on the bottom of the bowl, and then we'll be done. So this is gonna be a quick one today. Sorry, one more thing I forgot. So for our zucchini, we actually need to toss this in some extra virgin olive oil and then nicely salt them so they taste like something. Okay, now we grill. All right, so right now we have our skillet on medium-high heat. And we're gonna add our zucchini. And I'm using this grill pan so I can get those nice grill marks without having to fire up my actual barbecue grill. It's not like I actually know how to use a barbecue grill anyway, but you know, one day I'll learn. So this is batch number 2. And one of the tricky things about grilling zucchini or just cooking in general is that it has such a high water content, so it can go from crisp to soggy really fast. So I'm gonna go ahead and flip some of these over. Now that that's finished, let's go ahead and prepare our steak. So I've added olive oil to the skillet, and I'm gonna add those room temperature steaks. And then I'm also gonna add about 2 tablespoons of butter, Kerrygold to be exact. And then let's add in our thyme and rosemary and garlic. And we're gonna let this cook for about 2 minutes on each side. I like my steak medium rare. I sometimes kind of struggle cooking it to that temperature because I always end up overcooking it. But we'll see if we can get it right today. So I just flipped the steak, and so it's cooking very nicely. So we'll give it another about 2 to 3 minutes and we should be good to go. All right, I'm gonna take this off the heat and let it rest for a minute, and then I'm gonna assemble everything and we're gonna give it a taste. Alrighty, we are all done, so let's give it a try. I have everything plated up right here. So let's cut some of that zucchini, get a piece of steak and some rice for the perfect bite. That is good. This is really tasty. This is great for a weeknight dinner when you want something different. It's not too heavy. It's just the right amount of crunch and tenderness and savoriness and creaminess from the sauce. Absolutely recommend this. Let me know if you've ever made something like this before, if you want to in the future. Love to hear from you. And as always, thank you for tuning in, and I will see you in the next class. Be sure to like and subscribe, and class dismissed.